We've seen Spider-Man Far From Home. Endgame is going back to theaters. The Flash movie might be coming after all. And Rick Grimes, is that you on Fear the Walking Dead? We're talking about all that and more. I'm Brandon Davis. You are watching Comic Book Now. Hello, happy Monday. Welcome to Comic Book Now. That's Chris Killian with that dainty wave. I'm Brandon Davis. Please call me.
You thought that was dainty?
Yeah,
it was a little.
man.
I was like,
I didn't think it was that good.
I'm sorry.
Give me a better wave. Yeah. Oh, that was like a punch in the face wave. You just
like,
broke
what's up, Comic Book Now?
Somebody just dropped their phone. We're sorry about the phone.
Sorry about
Welcome
that,
to Comic Book Now, everybody. We do this every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Cool show today. We have the cast of Spider-Man Far From Home live in the studio. No, but you will hear from them.
That would be awesome. You really got me excited for a second.
Come on in, Jake Gyllenhaal, Tom Holland, they're here. No, I went out to London last week. I interviewed the cast of Spider-Man Far From Home. I also went to LA and talked to the cast of Annabelle Comes Home and executive producer Mr. James Wan. So that's all happening on today's show. Yeah, that's right. But first up, Spider-Man Far From Home. I've seen it. I can't review it. What I can do is give a reaction. Like I did on Twitter last week, and I'll answer a few spoiler-free questions for you. So go ahead and drop those in the live comment section. We're live on Facebook, YouTube. We're live on Twitter. I don't know, can you do that anymore? I do have a lot of thoughts about Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
It's such a good film. Is that a review? I said it anyway. It's such a good movie. It gets better as it goes. It's great. Mysterio. Let me tell you something. Quentin Beck, Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal, so good.
What do you feel like Mysterio is compared to Vulture? Because I know Vulture was one of your new favorite MCU villains.
I don't know if I would put... I really enjoyed Vulture, mostly because of the scene with
the backseat
in the
scene.
car.
Yeah.
Where Tom Holland's Peter Parker in the backseat. It's very suspenseful. There's nothing super heroic about it. It's just a very tense scene. The music from Michael Giacchino killed it. The direction from John Watts killed it. Jake Gyllenhaal and Vulture don't have much in common. Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio and Vulture don't have much in common. Anything I say about the plot of this movie, I feel like it would be a spoiler. There's that many kind of twists and turns. It's really unexpected. But Gyllenhaal, I mean, he instantly becomes one of my favorite MCU characters.
Nice.
He's really, really good. And I think it's going to be kind of unanimous. I think people are going to dig it. Tom Holland and Jake Gyllenhaal together are great. The chemistry between them, I mean, it's like they didn't miss a beat in almost replacing Robert Downey Jr. with Jake Gyllenhaal because he needs a mentor. Peter Parker is a character who needs a mentor. He's still coming into his own and figuring out how to be a superhero. I mean, he went to space and fought Thanos, but he still needs some coaching. He's a teenager, so kind of Jake Gyllenhaal's Quentin Beck comes in there and fills that void a little bit. And it's so good. The dynamic between them is just so good. Twist after twist. I can't stress you there. Like, stay away from spoilers as best you can. I'm not giving any. This is not a spoiler, but I will say the post-credit scenes, 2 of them, are the 2 best, I think, post-credit scenes in the MCU ever.
That's
they
really
are that exciting.
Yeah, that's
They
awesome.
are so good. I can't tell you a single reason why, but they're so good.
I don't know if you guys feel like I feel, but this is just a lot of torture right now. All of this, like, without any clues or hints, it's pretty tough. I have more questions, and if you guys have Spider-Man Far From Home questions, drop them right now, and I'll read them, and you can answer them if they're not
I'd be happy
spoilery.
Not going to spoil it.
Yeah. So we were talking about this, I think, on the last show, where we had a discussion about Spider-Man taking over Iron Man's role as kind of the leader of the MCU. And you said you didn't think they were going to do that because of Sony, but now you've kind of changing your
Listen,
stance a little?
I thought, there's rumors online. This is the last movie on the deal between Sony and Marvel Studios and Disney. But I can't imagine how that's true based on how this movie goes. There are clearly plans for this character to continue. There's more story to tell with this character, and that's very clear in the movie. So, is he going to be the next Iron Man? I still don't think so.
Yeah.
But if you're asking, will he be the leader of the MCU? I think you're going to have more of an ensemble in leadership. I mean, just like how you had, it wasn't just Iron Man, it was Captain America and Thor, and then Doctor Strange came along, Black Panther came along, Captain Marvel came along. I think now you'll have Spider-Man and Black Panther and Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange all kind of leading it. Maybe Ant-Man gets in there because he was so good in Endgame. But yeah, he's at the front of it with those other characters,
well,
for sure.
Amy Pascal's even, in some recent interviews, she's been talking about how she wants to see Tom Holland continue as the character. She's even
yeah.
kind of made some hints that, like, even as far as their version of, with the Venom movies and Morbius, and she's still kind of leading, like, sounding like there's
I'm
a
starting
possibility
to think,
that they're going to join up.
I'm starting to think that Tom Hardy's Venom and Tom Holland's Peter Parker could cross paths in the movies. I'm starting to think that.
Yeah.
Because Venom wasn't a critical success. Nobody really liked Venom. Some people did, but I mean, overall the movie felt dated, was what it was. But it made a lot of money.
Made a ton of money.
It made a lot of money. Tom Hardy's a box office draw. Tom Hardy as Venom was fun to watch. The movie itself, not great. Tom Hardy as Venom, that was good. So I think if they kind of find a way to make that work, I think Kevin Feige might come around and make. I'm starting to believe that could happen.
Yeah, that's the kind of the rumble.
That's a win-win. Look at how much money Venom made. Look at how much money Spider-Man: Homecoming made. Watch how much money Spider-Man: Far From Home makes. You put the two together. You put Venom and Spider-Man together. You're gonna make some box office.
Well, it's almost a smaller version of what they did with Avengers by building up some of these separate characters and then pushing them together in one big movie. I mean,
I don't want to. I'm afraid to spoil things. I would love to see a whole Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Within the MCU, I think it could happen, and I think it's a really exciting prospect. I will talk about this more. When's the movie come out? In 2 weeks. In the show 2 weeks from now, we'll be able to talk about this more. And I did interviews with John Watts, the director, and Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal, and we talked about huge spoilery details, which you're going to want. There's going to be a lot of questions after this movie. We will have those answers here on Comic Book Now and on Comicbook.com.
Oh, man.
Is it the best Spider-Man movie ever? I think so.
What was your original Spider-Man best movie?
I mean, Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Homecoming, for me, were just like this. It depends what side of the bed I wake up on.
You're not including Spider-Verse in this.
I'm not, Spider-Verse is exceptional. It's an amazing film. I'm talking live-action Spider-Man movie. And even if you do include Spider-Verse, I might give this the edge.
Really?
This movie was a masterpiece. It's so good. It's so good. It's fun. It's thrilling.
I'm always wary
unpredictable.
because I'm worried if this is like London Junket Brandon talking.
No.
You just got
I liked it a lot.
You didn't get romanticized?
I don't think so.
Oh God.
I was pretty tired when I watched this movie. Flight to London, I had to watch it the same day, and I lost my passport.
Yeah, you were in a bad mood. So if anything, this movie should be getting dogged by you right now. If it was.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Good.
I walked out and I was like, man, that was really good. The more I thought about it, the more I like it. And I've had almost a week to think about it. I saw it almost a week ago.
And you just want to watch it again.
I can't wait to see it again.
Good.
Anyway, if you guys have more questions about Spider-Man Far From Home, drop them in the comment section. We'll answer them at the tail end of the show. For now, how about we stop talking about Spider-Man and the cast themselves, Jake Gyllenhaal, Samuel L. Jackson, Zendaya, Jacob Batalon, and Tom Holland. How about they talk about it? Check this out. Last time I talked to you guys was at the Homecoming Junket, and I was wearing the same tie in New York.
You are? No way.
But this is I'm seeking redemption because I want you guys to see what I did.
It was very long.
What?
Oh. Why did you do that?
What happened
Listen,
there?
I was
How did that
nervous. As apparently I am.
Hey, it's fine. Totally fine.
That's okay. Do you think I'm doing better?
You're doing
Yeah,
much,
much
better.
better.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to get the
If
tie.
it's a
has been
long
ready.
enough tie, though, you could do a Windsor knot.
I don't even know.
Yeah,
It's a
I
very
don't know what
British
that is.
thing.
YouTube would have. YouTube taught me this knot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to
YouTube
get
will
on
teach
it.
you that.
Okay. All right. I haven't worn it since. I just wanted to make sure
Nice.
it's approved.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
when we do Spider-Man 3 junket,
It's coming back.
want
It's
to
It'll
just
be
like
even
it's
shorter.
shorter.
Yeah.
It'll be even
sure, and then it's a bow tie, and then it's around your head.
Yeah, it'll be a
I
bandana.
don't
All
want it
right,
going on.
let's talk about Far From Home.
Let's talk about it.
In this movie, Peter Parker really gets a pressure to become the next Iron Man in a lot of ways. Did you feel that pressure when you were becoming Spider-Man? Something similar?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a level of pressure, making these movies, that a lot of people are going to see them, and a lot of people equally are going to have an opinion. I was very lucky when I did Civil War because I had a chance to audition for the public. I'd got the part and I'd auditioned for the producers, and then Civil War was my chance to kind of show the world what I was trying to create, and if they didn't like it, we could change it by the time we got to Homecoming. And if they loved it, which I was very lucky that they did,
We keep doing it.
I just knew that all I got to do is exactly the same as I did on Civil War, but rather than doing it for 10 days, I need to do it for 100 days in a row.
Keep it up, doing a great job.
Thanks very
Great
much.
responsibility, great power. Who was the first of you three to find out about Tony Stark dying? It had to be you.
No, it was him.
Yeah, it was
And
me
then,
because I told them.
but then he told us
Yeah, so.
So
immediately.
you immediately told them.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm saying is we were the first people to hear from him.
So how did you find out then?
happened.
How did I find out? We went to shoot
Too soon.
a wedding sequence for Avengers Endgame, and we showed up, and it was not a wedding. It was a funeral for Tony Stark, and what a bummer.
I'm getting worked up just talking.
Yeah.
But did you guys tell, like, how do you keep that secret? Because it's a huge part of your movie.
Well, yeah.
I'm not going to tell anybody, but did you
It's
tell
part
anybody?
of our job to keep.
And I just have like no
You
one
literally,
else
like,
to
you have to
say
sign.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Like no people I know would care hard enough to like get it out of me. So it's like not that hard to keep a secret.
We're going to be friends after this.
Yeah.
I need to know going forward. A big element in Far From Home is the Peter Tingle, which is
Yes.
MCU's name for the
Version of
spider
the Spidey
sense.
sense.
It's pretty embarrassing when family members are like, "Hi, you're Peter Tingle." What's the most embarrassing thing your family always does, or your friends always do to you? Is there an equivalent like that in your life?
When my dad used to drop us off at school, he'd like sometimes wear like my mum's pajamas or something, and he wouldn't just drop us off at school. He'd like get out the car and give us a cuddle and give us a kiss on the cheek and stuff. And he was only doing it to be embarrassing. So yeah, that wasn't great.
I think of some of my parents to annoy me.
No,
My older
I mean,
siblings have always made fun of my abnormally large head.
No.
It's not anymore. I've grown into
Oh,
it.
I was gonna-
But
Your
when
ears.
I was a kid,
What size fitted were you?
I don't know, but it's big. My head is. I do have a large head. It just is what it is. So if you talk to anybody, my mom will always tell a story about how like when I was a baby, she took me and they measured my head, and they were like, "Haha, that can't be right." And measured it again. So fun fact.
Well, I can't wait to see it. I hope you guys come back for a third, and congrats on another great one.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Spider-Man Far From Home has some serious repercussions from Avengers Endgame. Starts off with showing the repercussions of the blip. So if you guys were blipped and you came back today, what of the past 5 years would you be most pissed off about missing?
You know exactly what would be pissed off about missing.
Which one? Which thing? I'm trying to think. Which thing? Yeah, I would be.
Yeah.
I would be totally. I would be like, come on, send me back to this other place.
Seriously,
Send me back. Just send me back.
What time rift can
Just
I go
send me.
through?
Bring me back when this is over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep me out there.
Yeah. Just keep
Yeah.
me over there until this
Yeah.
is over.
Sam, you've been with the Marvel franchise for such a long time. Do you think this is almost a passing of the torch of sorts now that we're starting to see? Because we see Nick Fury starting to show some Iron Man vibes for Spider-Man.
Really? You think I like him?
As much as you like anybody. As much as Nick Fury likes anybody.
Well, yeah, we're getting there. He's a little frustrating for me right now. I want him to grow up quicker than he's willing to grow up. And I'm doing that, parental pressure thing. It's like, come on.
Tough love sometimes.
Either get a job or get out of the house.
And you're with a seasoned veteran, but with Marvel, and I'm curious, who gave you kind of the download? This is what it's like doing Marvel. And was it any different by comparison to other films?
Yeah, nobody gave me any download. I was thrown right in the middle of it with not a lot of advice. I probably would have liked some, but that's part of the whole thing. Is even if someone were to give you advice entering this world, you'd still be kind of confused because there's so much going on. It's so big, and I mean the first day I shot, the first scene I enter when I land on, I shoot the laser man when Sam's there. That was my first day. So I just jumped down in this suit. It was 100 degrees, tons of dust, and then right there was Nick Fury. So you just do it and you hope you can get by.
And your first day, you're fully costumed.
Yeah, fully costumed, in the sun, that huge wool cape, battery pack on my back, all lit up, ready to go. Yeah.
So let me ask you this then. When did you guys first learn about Tony Stark's fate from Endgame? Because that's a tough secret to keep.
I mean, when did you learn?
Me? When we shot the scene?
Yeah.
We'd already shot the wedding before, we started this movie.
It was really pitched to you as a wedding.
For me. Yeah, well, that's what they said. That's what they called it. They said, we're having a big wedding shot. And you get there and everybody from the MCU is there. It's like, damn, what's happening? And then you find out. It's kind of like, oh, all right. Okay. I'll go with it. And
you
me
didn't
and
find
Bree
out.
were the last two, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you found out when you were making this film.
I found out before. I mean, I read the script before and I knew, And obviously I knew when John and I first met, the explanation of how everything evolved and what was going to happen in this, was he had to give me the backstory of what was going on there. So I've known for about a year and a half. Yeah.
So my last thing for you, there's a line in this movie where you say, "Bitch, you went to space." I've got to ask, was that in the script or was that improvised? Was
Probably not.
was improvised.
That was you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm here to attest. That was improvised.
You've earned the right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame is going back to theaters. While talking to Kevin Feige last week in London, I asked the president of Marvel Studios if they had any interest in re-releasing Endgame as a means to push it over the just under $40 million hump it is facing in trying to become the biggest movie of all time and beating Avatar. As it turns out, the answer is yes, and that became a worldwide Twitter trend. Avengers Endgame is going back to theaters this weekend with about 8 minutes of bonus footage. We don't know what that footage is yet. Marvel hasn't said anything yet. Oh, and by the way, Feige also told me they're talking to Keanu Reeves and really hoping to find a good fit for him somewhere in the MCU. Let the Keanu Sons roll on. One more Marvel bit today. That mysterious 4 teaser thing that we saw. See it right underneath me. We talked about it last week on Comic Book Now. It's not a continuation of Spider-Man 4 like we thought and hoped. It is a comic book written by J.J. Abrams and his son, Henry. Because who better to write about Spider-Man than, yeah. Marvel announced the Abrams family would be getting their own Spider-Man book with art by the legendary Alex Ross, so I'm into that. And social media was admittedly disappointed and had their fun with it, but it seems to be coming around to the idea a little bit. We're going to give this a shot. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comment section because we're live. On to DC. The Flash movie might be coming around after all. A new report from Variety claims that when Ezra Miller wraps production on Fantastic Beasts 3, hey, I watched Harry Potter for the first time last night, he will head back to the DC efforts and play Barry Allen once again for a standalone movie. So this brings 2 questions to mind. This is what I'm thinking. What is going on with the continuity of the DC movie world, if he still is the Flash, or if he's not? And do we want a Flash movie at all with Ezra Miller?
Well, first things first, I feel like we got to get the idea of the DCEU out of our heads.
Yes.
Because I think Warner Brothers is making it abundantly clear that they have no plans of joining these characters again anytime soon, and now they're going in different directions with Batman, and they've got the standalone Joker movie. I think hearing what they're going to do with Suicide Squad 2 being a soft reboot of Suicide Squad, I think that's what they're going to do with the successful characters like Wonder Woman and Aquaman. I think they're just kind of doing a soft reboot, and I think we're going to pretend Justice League didn't happen is essentially what's going to go on. And I think they're going to focus on singular efforts from these movies. And so I guess I guess he's going to get included in that with the Flash, but I don't think it's going to be connected to anything else.
I'm down for an Ezra Miller Flash movie.
Yeah.
I liked him in Justice League, and that's the only thing we can judge him on as this character. Really, was he anywhere else? He was in a.
I don't know. I didn't like that whole way he
was.
ran like this. I wasn't a fan of that, but that's a personal nitpicky thing.
But here's the thing: Shazam was great.
Yeah.
Aquaman was great. Wonder Woman was great before all of this. Wonder Woman 1984, probably going to be good. Birds of Prey, going to be very R-rated and very good, I think.
Yeah.
Joker, going to be isolated. I've heard good things. So if this is the new formula for DC movies, if they are all isolated and eventually it calls for a team up organically, that's great. I'm all for it. And this is the strategy I wish they implemented from the beginning.
Right.
They rushed. There's no question they rushed. They know it now. They're taking a step back and they're basically redoing everything without redoing everything.
Right.
And I don't care.
Yeah. No.
I'll go watch these movies and not be like, well, in Justice League, he knew Batman.
Yeah, as long as they're not just become a jumbled up mess, I think it's fine. I mean, it is to a degree, but it's just one movie deep, and I think that you can kind of like wipe that away and kind of pretend that it didn't happen,
right.
and just go on with the more successful characters while rebooting, Batman and possibly Superman down the line.
I hope they don't reboot Superman.
I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I think that, but I also feel like it's one of those situations where you're not going to be able to have Henry Cavill as Superman without being connected to all the Zack Snyder stuff. So I feel like if they're going to retool Superman, unfortunately, because I'm with you, I like Henry as Superman. I don't think he got his just due as the Man of Steel. But I think that they're probably going to end up recasting.
Dan Duane and Haley Carlos agree with you on the way the Flash ran being kind of weird. Oh.
Yeah, it was like he had strings on him or something. It was stupid.
All right, let us know. Do you guys want the Flash movie? Should we reboot it? Should it be a new actor? Or should Ezra Miller continue? Drop that in the comment section. Fear the Walking Dead. had another major connection to Rick Grimes in last night's episode. Not only were those mysterious black suit soldiers on hand in an episode loaded with Easter eggs referencing Madison Clark, Abraham Ford, and more, but the helicopter that took Rick Grimes away from Alexandria on The Walking Dead just straight up showed up on the show. Given the timelines, Fear should be at least 6 months behind Rick Grimes leaving Alexandria in that helicopter, meaning that the Fear characters could follow this chopper and be nearby for the exit. I've tweeted a whole theory about this. I've wrote about it on comicbook.com/The Walking Dead. They could be responsible for it or somehow involved, or maybe not at all. You never know. But we'll have to wait and see how this mystery plays out through the rest of the season. The showrunners have promised it will continue to unfold. And finally, The Matrix is reportedly getting a sequel or a reboot or something in the form of Michael B. Jordan. This guy is everywhere, having broken out in Creed and Black Panther as Eric Killmonger most recently. But now he might be taking Keanu Reeves' place as the star of The Matrix. I'm a big Matrix fan, but I'm still hesitant about this. A, to believe it in the first place, and B, to even get excited if it is true.
Yeah, this is the first time hearing about this. I'm not excited at all. I mean, why would you, I mean, no disrespect to Michael B. Jordan, but why would you reboot the Matrix trilogy and leave out Keanu Reeves when he's literally the hottest person on the planet right now?
I know. Well, maybe they won't. Maybe they won't.
That makes no sense.
Maybe they'll bring him back. Here's the thing. For me to get excited this early, it needs Keanu Reeves. When a trailer comes, if it looks great, I can get excited again. I can buy in. But in order for it to look great and for me to get excited, it has to do what the original Matrix movies did, and that's innovate. It has to do something different. The Matrix movies were a big idea, and their visual effects were new, and they were
the first one was.
But then the second one and third one built on that, and they built on a big idea. If you just take me back to that idea, that same idea, I'm not going to be very excited.
Yeah.
If you're visually impressing me, then I can get excited. You have to do one or the other, maybe both. Visually something entertaining and new that we haven't seen in cinema before, or introduce another big idea and back it up this time. Pay it off through your trilogy or however many movies you're going to make. Mm-hmm. That's what I have to see here. Michael B. Jordan could be great in this. Obviously, I want Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, this wasn't a knock on Michael B. Jordan.
Sure.
It's just saying, like, why would you remove Keanu from the equation? I don't know.
Maybe they're not.
Right.
Maybe they're not. We don't know yet. This might not even be true. We'll see.
And do you even know if the Wachowskis are attached?
Supposed to direct it and start in 2020.
Okay.
We'll see.
That's
We'll see. Anyway, leave your thoughts on that. I see the comment section is going crazy over this. Haley Carlos has some thoughts. Crystal Ann has some thoughts. James Parker says Neo died. Don't care. Speaking of DC earlier, guys, I went out to LA. I saw Annabelle Comes Home. Ooh, I had a nightmare that night. I'm not lying to you. I really did. I was like a bigger version of myself it was terrifying. It was weird. That movie messes with you. But anyway, that movie is from the mind of James Wan, the puppet master of the Conjuring universe. Maybe that's why his Twitter and Instagram handles are Creepy Puppet, because he's a puppet master of creepy crap. But I sat down with James Wan, director of Aquaman, executive producer of Annabelle Comes Home, tried to get some DC info out of him, got a lot of Annabelle info out of him. Check it out. James, Annabelle Comes Home, it captures a lot of the thrills and the terror of any Conjuring universe movie, but it also has a different tone where it offers some fun and some genuine laughs. So tell me how you guys landed on a very different tone for this movie.
I think, that... What is this? This is like the sixth one? I think
Seventh? Or sixth, yeah, Conjuring 3's on the way, yeah.
Yeah, I think the sixth one, and I think, the key is to make each one feel different. And I think, that's very important so that, when you create this world, it doesn't start to feel stale, it doesn't start to feel too repetitive. And I think it's important that, you come into each installment, each chapter with a different sort of outlook on things. And just by the very nature that Annabelle Comes Home deals with a younger cast means that it kind of wants to be a more fun of a film, more of like a classic sort of haunted house roller coaster film because of that. And I think that's good. And we just we lean into like that sort of 80s Amblin style of characters, and I think it was the perfect approach for this film.
Yeah, and it was also fun to see the Warrens kind of get a little bit of levity too. That was cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's you can't bring Annabelle back to the Warrens' home and not have Vera and Patrick in there, and so it's great. It's probably it's the sequel that has the most sort of direct connective tissue to the main Conjuring films.
well, I spoke with producer Peter Saffer, and he says that the audience is kind of responsible for choosing what is next. If you guys do an expansion by if they like an artifact or they like an entity. For me, man, it was the Hellhound, the werewolf in this. I was like, that could be an awesome. I mean, that's a true story.
That's it. Yeah.
Where do you think that could go? Maybe.
I mean, that's the crazy thing is a lot of people don't realize that the Warrens actually investigated a werewolf case. And that's one of their stories, one of the more infamous stories that I love, and I love the idea that maybe, if we can do it, it'd be great to see a werewolf movie in the Conjuring universe.
It'd be so cool.
It'd be so cool. And I don't think we've ever seen the story of a man possessed by the spirit of a werewolf.
No,
that's
nothing
pretty
like
cool.
that.
And the idea that maybe it takes an exorcism to get rid of a person's werewolf possession is a different approach to the werewolf genre.
Do you think this could all possibly lead to some kind of Avengers-like Conjuring universe crossover? Is that like something like all these evil forces and then the Warrens and all these other characters have to fight them off somehow?
Oh my god, that'd be amazing. Annabelle was in Shazam and Aquaman, so maybe it's like Shazam, Aquaman, and the Conjuring universe together. That'd be fun.
Oh, that would be so cool. And speaking of Shazam and Aquaman, I do have a couple of DC questions for you.
Of course.
First of all, you're doing The Trench, which is going to be a horror film.
Yes.
Can you give me any update on when we can expect news on that? What shape that's going to take?
We're still deep in sort of crafting the script, crafting the story right now, so I don't want to get into that too much. But definitely, it's one I really wanted to lean into the horror of it. So it's going to play more as a monster horror movie than it will as a superhero film. But it's definitely still part of the Aquaman world.
And so speaking of Aquaman, any update you can give on Aquaman 2? What timetable on that?
Nope.
What about Robert Pattinson as Batman? I don't know if you've weighed in on that. What do you think of that? And can he possibly ever interact with Jason Momoa?
I think anything is possible.
What's funny is that as soon as that interview ended, I stood up and shook his hand, and James Wan goes, "I love it when you fish, man." Like, because he knows, like, I'm gonna ask questions about, DC and things he can't necessarily answer. As you saw towards the end, he got a little tighter. He said, "No, I can't tell you anything about Aquaman," and he kind of just laughed off the Robert Pattinson question. He was like, "I love it when you fish," and I was like, pun intended, Aquaman. But I love James Wan. He's such a good dude, and you could see his enthusiasm when he talks about this stuff.
How creepy would it have been though if you were actually just a really avid fisherman?
And I would
And you're like, how did you know?
How did you know, James? You want to come out?
I love fishing.
Real release. All right. This is my favorite part of the show. If I have a script on paper, I throw it out there, but I didn't print one today, so
Where's that been at lately, bud?
Man.
That's like 2 weeks now. You've been without paper,
Wow.
man.
And save the environment.
Yeah.
Questions. Leave them in the comment section. We will answer them. See that? What's that say? Oh, my finger disappears. Live Q&A. Send your questions.
We got a couple of fun
What's
ones
happening
so
right now?
far. Yeah, okay, so Darren E. Connell wants to know, do you guys rip a fat one and giggle? Who doesn't? I don't know. I don't even know why I asked that.
I think that was your burner account. I think you went in and asked that question.
That's Brittany Mercer's burner account.
No, I think that's yours. I'm convinced that Darren is Chris Killian, Kevin Durant, our own show.
Haley wants to know, how many pop figures do you have?
Oh, God. Only one signed by Jake Gyllenhaal.
You have considerably more than I do. I probably have like 2 dozen. I think that's about.
Me too.
That's about.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Oh, I was
No,
gonna say.
I have probably about.
I used to live with you, You can't lie to me.
What was in your closet? I have about maybe 200.
Jeez.
Close to 200. I don't think I've hit 200 yet. I just picked up a Charmander pop, SpongeBob Patrick, and I got my Mysterio.
Yeah, this is a great way to get robbed. Is on a nerd show just.
Good luck stealing 200 pop figures. What are you gonna do?
I don't know. You're gone a lot.
You're gonna need extra
You
hands.
travel quite a bit.
Yeah, there's
so,
2 people in the house and a guard dog.
I'm just gonna stop by. I'm gonna be like, hey,
Brandon told me to come by and pick up
these
the
pop
figures. I hate you.
All right, Sky wants to know, will Spider-Man lead the new Avengers in the next phase, or will it be of someone of mature stature, Nova, Blade, Black Panther, America
Wait, say
Chavez?
that. What was the first part of the question?
He wants to know, will Spider-Man lead the new Avengers into the next phase?
Yes, with others.
Yeah.
Kind of like we talked about before.
That's
with Black Panther, with Captain Marvel. It'll be interesting though because I think you're going to see separate pockets of the MCU, whereas everything was very connected before. I think you have the cosmic side with the Asgardians of the Galaxy, and
that's kind of the
Doctor
feeling that I'm
Strange.
getting, is that we're going to have cosmic and we're going to have Earth, and it's going to be.
And they will occasionally intersect. but I think you'll have Spider-Man and Black Panther and Ant-Man on Earth, and maybe some of those characters will go to space. Maybe some of the space characters will come to Earth, but we're gonna have different leaders leading different groups.
All I want is for Taika Thor to stick around. I love that guy.
Do you mean melted ice cream Thor, or
They're both the same Thor to me. So
in the next Guardians of the Galaxy, if Thor is there, do you want him to be fat?
I actually want the movie to start with him and Chris Pratt fat, and them start exercising to get like Gamora's attention, and for Thor to get way more ripped than Chris Pratt does. I think that would be great. They should just hire me. I don't know what I'm doing.
All right, one more question. Let's find one more here.
Crystal Ann wants to know, which other actors would you like to see join the MCU? I think she asked this around the time we were talking about Keanu, so I'm assuming she means aside from Keanu.
I'd like to see Keanu Reeves. I'd like to see Nikolai Coster-Waldau.
I'd like, what about?
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah. Ryan Gosling?
No.
You wouldn't want to see Ryan Gosling?
No.
I feel like him and Jake Gyllenhaal are practically the same person.
I mean, maybe. He's actually a pretty good actor.
He's a great actor.
My knee-jerk reaction was no because The Notebook. But
oh God, that's like you getting mad at Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, it's like getting mad. Ryan Gosling's actually a pretty talented actor.
Yeah.
If you've seen The Nice Guys, he's really good in that.
He's great.
Who else would we? I mean, there's a few people I'd really like to see.
There's honestly not a lot of A-list actors anymore
They haven't
been a
Brad
superhero
Pitt,
at some point.
Tom Cruise. Do you want to see that?
Brad Pitt. I would like to see Brad Pitt, but even Brad Pitt, he was what's not in Megamind. He was Mega Man or not Mega Man. I don't remember. He was a superhero.
If
though.
Tom Cruise had played Iron Man like they originally planned, this is the only thing. I love Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. I'm glad he was. But if Tom Cruise had played Iron Man, the Iron Man suit would have been built practically and functioning, and we'd all have one by now.
We're kind of getting one. Did you not see that footage?
I did,
Yeah.
but did you, Tom Cruise would have been like, no, I really need to fly one of these things. So they would have built one for him on set.
Probably.
Thor 4 will be a Beta Ray Bill movie. Veronica Harden, does Scott Gimple have a finished script for the Rick movies? I don't know if the script is finished. It has probably come a long way since the last time I heard an update on it, where it was not even very much started at all.
Yeah.
So I can't say. But there is Rick movie news waiting to be released. And I think it's going to come soon. I think Comic-Con at the latest. It might come before Comic-Con. It might come at Comic-Con. Big Rick Grimes movie news.
You think possibly like trailer news?
No.
Too early?
But news on how those movies will be released is coming.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
All right, that's our show today, everybody. Wow, look at that. We filled 35 minutes. You guys got 5 free minutes of Comic Book Now. The whole show's free. This is Chris Killian, everybody. I'm Brandon Davis. Please call me Beauty. Hit me up on the Instagram, the Twitters. Do the same with him. Let us know you love us. Thank you, everybody. 2 p.m. Eastern Time every Monday. It's Comic Book Now.